2, 3. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Coffee Chat. I'm Anson.
I'm Sanghua.
And we are from Eastern Music.
Okay, so Eastern Music is a company that sells Chinese music instruments, and we offer lessons as well. And we do repairs and restoration, and we offer performances for events and launches. All right, so we've been around since 1978.
Yes, of course, Coffee Chat, our podcast, is not as long as 1978, but this is our 5th episode.
Yes.
Yes, so our 3rd episode, we talk about the conductors, then the episode after that, we talk about instruments. So in this episode, let's talk about the lighter side of things, mainly the mishaps, the funny things that happens during Chinese orchestra live performances.
Yes. I'm sure you have a lot of stories to share.
I think we both have a lot of things to share because I think I represent more of the seasoned concert performance type of mishaps, whereas I think you have a rich experience in gig performances.
I do have a few solo performance mishaps that I could perhaps share as well.
Oh, do tell.
Okay. So, Anson, maybe you can share one of your performance mishaps first. Start the ball rolling.
Well, yes, I do have some stories, but of course, I'm not going to start with my own first. This one comes from a professional sauna musician. And when I mean professional, I mean like they really studied it professionally. They're in this career as an educator, as a performer. So this happened in a recent performance. It was during River Ang Pao. So for our listeners who don't know what River Ang Pao is, every year during Chinese Lunar New Year period, there will be live performances along the river. Okay, so this person says during performance, he realized that he needed to blow harder into his sauna to keep himself in tune. So he was thinking, am I too tired from teaching? Is it that's why I'm not using enough air to play the sauna? So after the whole show, so meaning at the end of the show, then he only realized that he used the wrong reed to play. Yeah, so he actually put a C key reed at a D key sauna. Yeah, so how sauna work is if the reed is bigger, you need to play harder. So basically, he put a bigger reed at a smaller sauna, so he had to play harder throughout the whole show. Yeah,
that is that is a mishap that is only he would know. Luckily, there was no real damage to the performance itself.
So this is why small mishap that's still salvageable because he is a professional and he knows what to do.
This kind of mishaps is not so noticeable, so it's still alright now.
Yeah, so not noticeable, but the next story that I'm about to share can be seen even from the audience perspective. So this story goes, it happened around 2015. I was playing a guzheng solo. Needless to say, I messed up my part, but not in the sense that I couldn't recall my parts or forget my scores. It has to do with the instrument itself. So there I was performing 春到湘江. It's a diploma piece, so there's a lot of things going on the guzheng. So before I started playing, I checked the stand and the guzheng, making sure it is stable. Since it was the actual performance, so I was a bit more kanchong lah. So I was being extra caution and double checked. However, or rather somehow, the guzheng started to shake after the intro music. Like it was violently shaking when I did the tremolo. It was just imagine the guzheng swinging back and forth. So needless to say, that caught me off guard. I was panicking, I couldn't stay calm, and my mind went blank. That's probably to this day my worst solo performance.
Okay, the mind went blank, but did he or she manage to finish the performance?
Yes, he did. Why did I say he? Because I was at that performance too, and I was playing accompaniment for him. But to be honest, I didn't even notice that happening. Maybe I'm not sure whether is it in his mind, but he did say that it was shaking violently.
I think a lot of times the performer would magnify the little minor details.
Maybe it's the adrenaline.
Or maybe they perhaps they know what is happening.
Ah.
Yeah. Talking about shaking guzhengs, I remember going to a performance, a recital of some sort by students. So one of the students went up and the guzheng was shaking as well, and she was playing like high-level pieces, grade 7 or 8, like imagine 战台风, you have like strum, then Guzhong was like really shaking, and all I could focus on was not the music, but
The shaking guzheng.
The shaking guzheng.
Was it shaking so violently there's actually sound like gulung, 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 gulung?
There isn't, but you can see, but you can see there's rocking.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Did it affect the playing?
I'm sure she could have played better, but it wasn't too bad.
Oh, thank goodness. So this kind of thing, right, is usually instrument related. So that I remember very specifically, I also watched another student concert. So this dude, he's playing, this kid, secondary school kid, he's playing the pipa performance. So it was a concerto, so meaning he was on stage and there's an orchestra backing him up, right? So he was about to play and then he was checking his instruments like how soloists usually do, and then suddenly his peg just loosened. You can see it loosen and then drop out.
Oh,
with the strings still intact.
the whole thing dropped out.
Yeah. So at that point, I would imagine, oh no, what's gonna happen? Because secondary school kid, are they experienced enough for this sort of situation? But he handled it so classily. So basically, he just stood up, waved at the audience, smiled, and then sat down and just tuned. So he didn't fumble, he didn't panic. He just let the audience know that, oh, something wrong happened to my instrument. Let me fix it. Yeah, and carried on, and it was like nothing happened.
Okay. So was it during the performance or?
Luckily, it was right before the piece started. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I just remembered this happened last year, 2023. It was in Esplanade Concert Hall. I was backstage. I'm not watching, but I witnessed everything happen. So they're playing, this girl was playing a Zhongran concerto. That was daunting. So it was, the piece went on it was just the beginning of the piece, and the Zhongran string snapped.
Okay, usually Zhongran players will have an extra Zhongran.
Yes.
Beside.
Yes, but it was during a very exciting part of the piece. And I remembered what the conductor did was he just restarted the whole piece again. Because he didn't, I guess the conductor didn't want the video recording to suddenly, cut off and then continue again. Yeah, so he just started the whole piece again.
Okay, I think that's the correct thing to do. I mean, the performer would have practiced very hard for that part as well.
It was Yunnan Hui number 3.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the epitome of Zhongran concertos.
Yeah, imagine playing.
It was and it's thrown right at the beginning of the piece.
Okay. Yeah, there's no way of fixing it. I mean,
this is non-salvageable.
Yeah, but I mean, restarting is a good way. The conductor should have the initiative or should take the bold step of restarting the piece.
And I only witnessed this at the backstage monitor instead of sitting in the audience. So I'm pretty sure it was very nerve-wracking for everyone on stage. Speaking of nerve-wracking, I have another story. So this is also about a concerto. So like I said in the beginning, my stories, my experience is more towards the live performances, concert setting. So this one also happened in 2022. Yeah, so my stories are quite recent. So this person wrote, this happened during my first ever erhu concerto back in 2022. So during full dress rehearsal, I noticed that I had some difficulty playing my erhu because of the material of my dress. So I had to ask around for an anti-slip mat to stabilize it, which I'm not used to. So we assume that she doesn't play with an anti-slip mat. All was well until the actual concert when it was my turn to go on stage for the concerto. The orchestra was already on stage and waiting for me to walk up. I remember holding on to my erhu and walking up on stage, and all I could think of was don't fall down. So then I sat down and started to tune my erhu, but the erhu started to move, which was when I realized I forgot the anti-slip mat backstage, which then I would not be able to play well. So I looked at the conductor, who was also checking if I was ready. I told the conductor the situation, and he just told me to go back and get the anti-slip mat because I told him I really needed it. So I had to exit backstage and get it, and was so scared because I know that one, the stability of my erhu, meaning the tuning and my ability to perform, would be affected significantly without the anti-slip mat. And number two, I've never heard of people being able to enter twice. So I didn't know if the conductor would allow it. And of course, number three, psychologically, I was very thrown off and I wasn't confident in being able to perform up to expectation subsequently. But I think having the time to take the anti-slip mat allowed me to collect my thoughts. And I thought to myself, wow, there's only one big mess up that can happen and I have filled up my quota already. So my performance will go well. And where's the logic? I don't know. But I think it helped with my confidence and subsequently my performance. So thankfully everything went well and I think that performance was the best run out of all my practices. Yeah, so at least there's a good ending to this whole mishap.
Lucky it happened before the performance. You know, some people will just, like, never mind, forget it, I will just try. Yeah, you really have to have the mental steel to tell the conductor that, I need this thing, I cannot start yet.
Have you ever met any performers who's like, if something happens, just let it be?
Yes, of course.
Yo.
Yeah, there was once, because I arranged quite a lot of performances. Then there was once I needed a 古筝 player to accompany me. Okay, it was a RC performance, residence committee.
RC?
Yeah,
Okay.
It was just like a communal kind of thing for the residents. So I got this 古筝 player which I have not had before. Okay, so I gave him the song list before that. And I wanted him to, prepare for these songs. Not a lot of songs, just 2-3 songs. I remember one of them
10
was...
10 minutes worth of...
Yeah, kind of thing. One of them was Attire. The rest I cannot remember. Yeah, so I'm playing the erhu and he is playing the 古筝.
Okay.
So I prepared scores for him. Yeah, then I gave him the scores. I mean, it's just basic melody scores. I would expect him to...
do his homework
and write out the chords. So we had a practice session and he doesn't know how to play the accompaniment at all. So I had to write out the chords for him. Okay, that's number one. So write out already, then he still cannot really, it's not someone who isn't accustomed to playing accompaniment.
They're more of the solo player type.
Yeah, will not be able to wing it, last minute. So, but I expected him to be able to do it, but he just couldn't do it. And before the performance, he had all the scores there.
Okay.
Then we were backstage, and because it was an outdoor event, so his scores were like pieces of paper, and
it wasn't even in files.
Yeah, he should have put it in a file, but it was pieces of paper, and he put it on music stand. Then a gust of wind came and blew the score, and they all fell into a puddle of water.
Oh dear.
Yeah, they were all wet. Then I asked him how. I thought he will go and take the score and try to dry it and put it in a condition that he can see or maybe write out the scores But what he told me is 就这样咯. Don't need
Just like
scores
that.
Then we went up and he was playing like crap,
Oh dear, like not even forming proper phrases, sentences.
I mean, you have a performance, you need one person to play the accompaniment and the other person to play the melody. So I was playing the melody and he was playing the melody with me. And worst thing is some of the melodies he don't really know. So he just tried to play whatever he can. It was such a washout.
That whole series of events felt very comical. The gust of wind, the puddle of water would just happen to be there.
Yeah, but it's the attitude if you cannot do it and people pay me money to do a performance and I pay you money and you should come prepared. You should make sure that you can at least do a decent job and sound decent. I wouldn't expect anything else, but yeah, that was last time I worked with him.
Yeah, speaking of scores, right? So this day and age, everyone is using iPad nowadays. So so that eliminates the whole gust of wind, paper flying around thing, because definitely cannot blow an iPad away, right? So with iPad, there are new problems with it too. So not saying bad about this app, but I think it's quite a popular score reading app that everyone has with an iPad. Not everyone, a majority of people using iPad would have. It's called ForScore. So ForScore is a remarkable app, because you can pair it with a pedal, a Bluetooth pedal where it flips the pages for you. You can write notes on it, and they have like music notes, notation specific that you can put into the app. You can even sync with. So it's a wonderful and remarkable app. But with every app, there's bound to be bugs, So here's the story. So this was a performance back in 2018, and I performed as an alumnus to the school. There's this program where we had to play accompaniment for a current student. It was a small ensemble setting, 2 cellists, 1 yangqing, 1 zhongran, 2 erhu, those kind of ensemble. So it was the actual concert, and I was playing the cello. My stand partner, was using my iPad. So when it was time to flip page, the whole page turned blank, meaning it was just white. Okay, so needless to say, we both panicked. My stand partner had to start improvising something. So it's really, and funny enough, I was in that show. I was on stage also. So I didn't hear anything wrong. But anyway, the cellist, the stand partner, needed to improvise something, and I ended up the storyteller. I ended up having to restart the entire app. Yeah, and because my iPad was a little slow, so it took a while. Then the entire time, the cellist had to improvise the bass, like boom, 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 something. So the funny thing was, people in the audience witnessed all of this happening because of this position they were sitting, so it was sideways. So the audience can see the iPad just white, black. It was daunting and embarrassing, and all I had to do is just laugh about it now.
Oh, so it was during the middle of the
It
performance.
was really in the middle of the
when
performance.
you flipped the page and it was blank.
Yeah, and actually it happened to me before also.
Oh.
Yeah. Luckily, it wasn't a part where I had to immediately connect, so I can quickly refresh the app, like turn it on again, and so it was kind of scary. It was really scary.
Oh, does it happen often? I mean, it's really quite a big.
It's quite a
boo-boo.
buggy issue. Yeah, and I've heard from so many people that has similar experience regarding using iPad for scores.
Okay, so
iPad for scores reading, not that.
I mean, they say 台下十年功，台上10分钟，台下10年功. So imagine all your 10年功 being undone by this app.
Okay, for our non-Mandarin speakers, so that phrase meaning 10 minutes on stage is equivalent to 10 years off stage. Yeah, so those 10 minutes really wasted your 10 years of training just because of one buggy app.
Yeah, so, but you'll still use that, right?
Oh, definitely. It really saves a lot of resources paper-wise. Don't have to carry so many things, and I can keep my entire library on my backpack.
Okay, but maybe, I don't know. But I mean, if it's a solo performance, perhaps you should be memorizing the scores as well. Right?
So up to this point, all we've been talking about is like, instrument issue,
Equipment issues.
Yes. So the next few story, right, actually has to do with the person. So you mentioned about soloists remembering scores, right? So this story I have is actually part of a duet performance. Okay, they had to memorize score also, which we can actually talk about more later regarding score memorizing. So here goes. This happened last month, so meaning February 2023. I was doing a duet, but I spaced out halfway, and I couldn't get out of this particular repeat bar as I cannot remember what's next. But my duet partner continued playing her part. She realized I didn't play what I'm supposed to, so she turned to look at me while I was stuck playing random things while trying to remember what's next. Sorry, this is actually a very scary story. So I don't remember what's next. When I finally remembered what I'm supposed to play, she was already far ahead in the music, and I don't know where to come in. Sorry. So I just played the parts after the repeat bar and hoping that she could join in, and thankfully she could. It was such a scary experience, and it affected both our moods after. Sorry. Sorry, it's not a funny story, but.
It's quite funny, you know.
It was a scary experience, and it affected both our moods after the duet, and we had.
And you had to fall out, and you were never friends.
They still have half the show to carry on.
Oh.
Okay, it's a very sad story because I had something similar.
Sad story.
It is so scary. No, because I was imagining the playing the same chord throughout. Well, the person just stared at her like, what are you doing? Okay. I'm collected myself. Yeah, so I'm not sure if the listeners can hear the story well.
Okay, so summarize.
Yeah.
Basically, the person forgot what to play and keep playing the same repeat bar until the partner is able to join in to realize what is happening and join in, because the partner was way ahead of the person.
Yeah, so I'm not laughing at the person because I have a very similar situation that happened to me also.
Wait, I'm just curious, is there a recording of all these?
I don't know.
It will be very
I don't know
funny.
because the next story I'm about to share is my own personal one, and there's actually a recording.
Yes,
okay,
that's not released.
I'll get to that. So
Okay.
I really empathize with this submission, this person who forgot score, and then have to get back into it. It's really daunting because this happened in 2019. I was playing a Yangqing concerto. It was a 4-movement piece, Yellow River. So, and the thing is, this is my second time performing it. So, meaning 2018, I performed a similar concerto with the same orchestra but different venue. So, 2019. So the second movement is the more slow part, right? And I just played, and then halfway I forgot. I just spaced out. But the thing is, as I was trying to recall the melody, I could sing the melody, but I just couldn't find my note. I just ended up waving my hand. So, where am I? And then
Trying to take over the job of the conductor.
Yeah, speaking of the conductor was kind of panicking. It was like, oh, should I stop the piece and just restart it? And then the whole orchestra, and it was at the most quiet part, meaning it was only me playing with minimal accompaniment. So it was really scary. And what saved me was the ding sheng suddenly just the melody came out, and then I snapped and I just got back into the music. So I was so affected, like very saddened by what happened because it was such an iconic piece, and I still have 2 more movements to go. So I remember telling myself, okay, I have to redeem myself, I have to salvage the situation, and it turned out that my 3rd and 4th movement was the best out of all the runs. So, but there's a story after all this. So I remember backstage, once this happened, right, I was really at a down, like low mood, and then a teacher from a professional orchestra who was helping out the concert approached me, and she told me, hey, don't be too sad because this happens to professionals also. So just don't dwell on it, move on and keep playing your music. Okay, then that was actually very encouraging of her to do that, to the point of just now you say unreleased. So I happen to be the one in charge of the YouTube channel for the orchestra that I performed in, and I deliberately unlisted the second movement. So there were actually people who were asking me, hey, why this performance only 1st, 3rd, 4th movement, what happened to second movement? And I said, camera problem.
Hey, you could have just add in that part, and the camera you could have
of me like just waving my hand, and then the music is dun, 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 dun,
not you lah. I mean, maybe you can cut out another part.
I think the video editor already lost the actual footage already. It was quite some time.
Okay. Talking about mishaps for solo performances, I think a lot of people, a lot of soloists, they would have experiences of screwing up on stage lah. Some more severe than others. Well, I do have a story to share myself as well, because I participated in this whole competition about 20-30 years ago, when it just started, and I had to play 翻身歌 and 鸿鹄人民的心愿.
Oh, quite big pieces.
Yeah, so the first one to fumble was my Yangqing companies.
Oh dear.
I think during the 鸿鹄人民的心愿, there was one part where he had to play it very fast, like what do you call that?
Okay.
Running notes up. Yeah, then his Yangqing stick got stuck.
Oh no.
Does that happen to you?
Oh yeah, definitely. It happened to all of us.
Really?
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
and the music suddenly stopped. It's like, hello.
Then how?
We recovered. Then I joined back in. Yeah, then the second part was while I was playing 换声歌, the end there was that part I suddenly just stopped. And I didn't play for like 5 seconds. Then I recovered again.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So did it affect your honghu after that?
Oh, no. I cannot remember which came first, but I didn't get any prize.
Oh no. But that was not your only time competing.
That was my only time competing. Yeah.
Because now that I'm hearing your story, right, actually it also has some similarity with some submissions. Like they say like they put so much pressure and emphasis on certain parts, right? Then when that time comes, you just blank out. Because I think back to my story, right, the part that I spaced out is the total opposite. Is one part that I actually didn't really pay much attention because it was such an easy phrase. I thought like I can emphasize on the more difficult parts. And then when it came to the actual performance, suddenly I just spaced out because I didn't spend enough time on that phrase. Yeah, it just happens.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes when I'm recording stuff, like our EMTV, sometimes you would think that, okay, this is a very good run, I better not screw it up, then you will screw it up.
Sometimes I think
end.
just don't screw up.
Yeah, so it's a mental thing. So you just have to relax and not... It's very easy to say, but just good luck to you.
Well, I mean, this is all individuals, but sometimes, right, there's one individual that pulls the whole orchestra together to move forward, right? And if that one individual mess up, it might cause chaos. And this role is none other than the conductor.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's a story where the conductor just lost midway. And then the orchestra was in shambles. So the story goes, the conductor made a mistake during conducting, so wrong time signature or an extra or missing bar, etc. And the whole orchestra was in a mess because some follow the score, meaning they ignore the conductor, like someone like you, and they just continue based on the score, while the rest try to follow the conductor and they catch back the downbeat. And this can occur quite long. And the longest I've been was 10 seconds long of this entire chaos, meaning like different bars, different time signature, whole mess. Eventually, there comes a point where everyone knows the conductor will give a clear cue, maybe like a very huge pause somewhere or very huge accent somewhere, right? On the transition to the next section. So those who are early will just make some sound. So those who are early will just make some sound, hopefully in the correct chord, or repeat the last bar. So make sure they try to get back in cue, while those waiting for the cue, and then everyone goes back to the same part together. Although it is scary, but I think it's a very good learning experience for musicians because we need to react and do something on the spot because the music can't stop, and this needs to be done with no verbal communication. But of course, at the end of the day, the conductor also needs to realize the mistake and be skillful enough to bring 80 or even 100 people back under his or her control.
But I don't understand how that can happen. How did the conductor lose everyone? Or is it because two people are playing two different parts or what?
Okay, I'm not sure whether we're talking about the same performance, but 10 seconds is too long. But recently I did witness this happen right on stage. So I don't know what happened because rehearsals was fine. But during the actual performance, everyone entered, but I think maybe it's the nerves because it's the first piece of the concert. So the melody line went straight ahead, like they were rushing, but the rest of the orchestra was in time with the conductor. So this kind of thing is like a whole section just moving forward, whereas everyone's keeping in time. And then they were so forward that they were one beat off. So meaning they already changed melody, but the chords still stayed the same. That's where it's already very obvious. But miraculously, they just like elastic band, they just snap back together again. That was scary. And then in the same piece, the orchestra ended, but then some sections still kept on playing. it's already the end of the piece. It was a very la rah, pam pam pam, and then some sections still like making sound. So it was scary. It was just total chaos, and I was at the audience seat, just wondering, did anyone catch that? Because it's actually quite obvious.
Okay, that's really bad when the whole orchestra is not in sync. So Anson, have you heard of any other instances where the performer keeps repeating a certain phrase that I thought that was quite funny?
I don't mean to keep laughing at stories, but I heard this from a Erhu musician. It was during I couldn't recall whether it was a graduation. I couldn't recall whether was it a graduation recital or was it just an exam. But there's this iconic Erhu solo called Hong Mei. Hong Mei Sui Xiang Hong Capriccio, Red Plum Capriccio. So she just remember telling me how that piece is so similar in so many parts, and then she just kept on looping the and she just kept on looping. She couldn't get
Get out of the loop.
get out of the loop. And then the pianist was just like trying.
It's like, where's the exit? Where's the exit?
And then I think the way he exited was the pianist played the melody to the next part, then caught it and then just carried on. But of course, those who know the piece by heart definitely knows what happened, because I suddenly remembered another situation. It was also a live concert by this really famous by this very famous Erhu musician from China. Like, the name is so famous, when if I say it, you definitely know who it is, but I'm not gonna say it. So I was backstage because I happened to be playing accompaniment for that concert, but this happened during a piece where I wasn't playing Yangtze accompaniment, but the piano accompaniment was on stage. And it was also a 3-movement kind of piece, and then they were at the last movement where it's the fastest part of the whole piece. And then I don't know why, but the pianist couldn't find the part that she was playing. Like, I think it was a time signature issue, the tempo, everything. He just started messing up really badly. And all I can see from the backstage monitor is just the soloist, the Erhu musician, the Erhu master, just turned around and stared at the pianist. And then the pianist is just trying his very best to like find his part. He was like really playing and staring at the pianist. It was scary. It was scary. And I'm very sure the audience knew what happened. Because after the show, some of the audience approached me and said, "Oh, I heard the piano. What happened?" And it's like, I don't know. That's really something that's really stressful for everyone.
So how did it end?
Blackface.
No, I mean, like, did they catch up?
I think
Eventually,
yeah, because the soloist I think she even skipped some of her parts just to lock back together with the pianist. I mean, of course, they are professionals. I mean, at least for the Erhu player, she is a Erhu master, so she would definitely carry on with the piece up to the very end. Yeah, they ended together. I think that's a good thing. At least they ended together.
Have you heard of any instances where people just gave up and just walk away?
No, have you?
No, not really.
Okay. I don't wish to, witness that happen, because that would be quite stressful.
For the audience as well.
For the audience, yeah. Oh, do you remember one time we watched this concert by this we watched this concert where the conductor already went up on stage. It was nearing the end of the concert, and then this cushion player had to halt everyone so she could tune on stage. Do you remember this concert?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And it was a good solid minute. So the conductor just stood there and waited. And then it was just total silence. And then you can hear it's dong 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 dong, just the tuning.
Yeah, but I think that's all right lah. I mean,
at least they have the integrity to make sure the instrument is in tune first. Like, I'd rather just halt the whole world, wait for me to be in tune, or else I'm going to mess up your piece, which is even worse.
Yeah. Okay, and I remember once I watched this concert by a school, a very famous school that was maybe like 20 years ago. So the conductor went up and started off with percussion.
Okay.
Percussion, you have to play a certain thing to start off the whole piece. So the conductor gave the starting and the percussion came in. It was quite messy. Then the conductor stopped conducting. Then asked them to try again. And also a bit messy. Then he stopped. He refused to carry on with the music. Then I think it was the third or the fourth time before the percussion got it right. And he went on with the rest of the song.
Whoa, you gotta have quite the ego
Balls
to
of
do
steel
that,
as well.
yeah.
Well, he's a very renowned conductor. Hello?
I just mouthed the person's name, so yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the
sounds,
master
sounds just
is-
like it. Sounds just like it.
Nobody dares to mess with him.
No, that's defied.
Okay, so I have another story to share about the attitudes of performers for
okay.
gigs. This happened like maybe 10, 20 years ago.
When you first started.
Yeah, when I first
to
started
organize gigs.
so I have to find people who can do this.
Okay.
But right now, I mean, my pool of performers are all quite not
Pool
quite
of
very
talent is very.
very experienced. So none of this will ever happen. I'll make sure of that. So this person, I got a guzheng player and a xiao player to perform somewhere at the condo the Mooncake Festival. So this person, I gave her the song set list before that, and she's supposed to prepare. And 1 hour before the show, she texted me and told me that 我没有古筝指甲, I do not have 古筝 nails. You know, can you bring for me? You are a 古筝 player, you do not have 古筝 nails.
It's like who player don't have who bow like that.
Yeah, then I have to scramble to get the 古筝 nails with the tape.
Which you managed to do.
Yeah, I managed to do it. So when I reached there,
Okay.
then she told me that she doesn't have a lot of scores. So she showed me some scores in pieces of paper, and it's like the 主旋律 lah, the main
Like the one you
melody.
find online with the 简谱 only.
Yeah, so because
melody.
she is the 古筝, she has to play
Because
accompaniment.
the xiao.
Yeah, accompanying the xiao lah. So I have to write the chords for her there. Yeah, I wrote the chords for her. Then she asked me, do you have a folder? So she doesn't even have a folder to put the scores. Luckily, I do have this folder in my car. So I took the folder and put the scores in. And she asked me, do you have a music stand? Where am I going to find a music stand?
Like out of nowhere.
Yeah, then
magically.
Luckily there was a magician there. A magician.
You mean the magician made it appear, or just took his stuff?
Yeah, I took his magician tray where they put stuff on top of it. Yeah, I said, can I borrow this? So I got that. So you have a score, you have a so-called music stand, then nails, and she was not properly dressed. I said, why are you wearing this? She was wearing t-shirt and jeans. Hello,
And
you
sneakers?
Yeah, and sneakers. You go
casual,
for a performance at Mooncake Festival. I mean, you wear something festive.
Like when you saw her, you thought like, oh, maybe she haven't changed into her outfit yet.
I thought you would have clothes. Then I was asking, 你没有去换衣啊? You didn't change. Then she said, oh, this is what I'm wearing.
Is this why we have our own costume now because of this situation? Like you just prepare something, you make sure.
I mean, in case the person does not have, you know. So she went up there, you know, 古筝, and looking at the score on a magician tray, wearing sneakers, jeans, and it was quite a washout. And she cannot really follow chords as well. She just said, "Oh, 都是哆嗦哆嗦嘛，哆嗦哆嗦." The whole song was in 哆嗦哆嗦哆
But
嗦.
there's gonna be chord changes one.
I mean, like 月亮代表我的心绪, you just keep playing 哆嗦哆嗦哆嗦.
Ew. Okay.
I really do not know where to put my face, but I think normal people will not be able to hear.
Yeah, but I mean, we as performers ourselves, we have some integrity also.
Yes, we need to have some responsibility towards our audience.
This was so unprepared.
Yeah, it's the attitude.
Well, the next and last story has nothing to do with attitude.
Okay.
Or prepared. Like I mean, you can be so seasoned in performing, like whatever it is, right? You just can't prepare for this. So this story goes, I'm a seasoned concert performer, both solo roles, orchestra player role, concert hall, outdoor venue, you name it. But I guess sometimes when nature calls, no matter how experienced you are, it will just get let's just say difficult. So I can't recall which concert it was, but it was right at the start of the concert. So as the concert started, I had this strong urge to do number two. And the intermission was roughly 1
Okay,
hour.
what was number 2 again?
You have to do the big one.
Okay.
You have to do the big one. And the worst part is the intermission was roughly 1 hour away. So needless to say, that was my most sweaty first half performance ever. I was in a cold sweat, but I had to maintain my facial expression throughout.
Oh, the person was playing solo.
No, he was just an orchestra player. But
okay.
you imagine, like, even going home, taking bus, then suddenly stomachache is very... It's such a difficult thing, what?
Yes.
Yeah. So this person had to do number 2, and the intermission was 1 hour away. So could you imagine the pain that the person have to go through sitting on stage, playing the instrument and making sure nothing is wrong? I'm not sure if I could do that, because I would just close my eyes and not play and just pray. Because that's what I would do on public commute. I'll just close my eyes, clench, like hold on to something and pray to dear Lord that nothing bad happens.
Okay, that's interesting.
I think you're just disgusted by it. But this kind of thing never happened to you.
I do not
Okay,
have
maybe
such...
it's like butterflies. I was like, oh, maybe I need to, go for a quick pee or something. But that this is the big one.
Yeah, I can imagine, because I do not have such experience to be on stage for like 1 hour.
2 hours for this matter, because concerts, but then you have to wait for, you are obligated to wait for that entire time to the intermission when you know the toilet is just backstage. You can just dash there.
Well, I mean, just for the sake of discussion, if you are a percussion player and do you think you can like slip out from the back and come back in again?
I don't know. If I was like a who player, right, I would just leave, because I'm not the only person on stage.
No, it depends lah. I mean,
if percussion, I'm like waiting for that cha to happen, for that cymbal to happen, then if the conductor just ain't nothing happen because I'm like backstage doing my own cymbal.
Or maybe you are sitting somewhere inconspicuous, then after a song you can just leave, and if you're not playing some important parts.
Yeah. I'll definitely, then in that situation I will excuse myself.
Yeah, but Yang Qing is in the center lah. So if you
it depends on which orchestra. Right now I'm in the orchestra where the Yang Qing sits at the back.
Okay.
At the side. So if I want to sneak off after a piece, I could do that, because usually they'll dim the light a bit. I'll just quickly run off.
Yeah, so I think maybe for you listeners out there, if you're ever stuck in such a situation, if you really need to go, and if your performance is not so vital, maybe you can just slip out. I mean, if you're not a principal
I think people might not even catch what happened.
Yeah, they might know that.
Maybe something with the instrument.
No,
sorry, I need to string broke.
Yeah, or they might think that the next song doesn't require this person, and you can just leave lah. Okay, so some of these mishaps can be prevented, and some cannot. I mean, if your string breaks in the middle of the performance, I think this kind of things you just need to be prepared. Think of what are the bad things that can happen, and if it happens, what would you do? For example, string break, you have an extra
instrument,
or you can just tell your friend, if my string breaks, then I'll take the instrument from you.
Or like some soloists, like erhu player, if their string broke, they'll take the erhu from the principal player, then just continue on, because this also happened before. Violinists, they do the same thing too.
Yeah, so all these things, you just have to be mentally prepared, and when it happens, do not fumble, and just do not fumble and affect your performance. But there are some other things which can be avoided, like I mean, if you
forgetting to bring stuff.
Yeah, forgetting to bring stuff and not being adequately prepared. Yeah, and soloists, every time you go up to the stage, they say that if you prepare 100%, you go up stage, you perhaps only can perform like 60%. Yeah. So you need to really prepare until 150%. So when you go, when you go up stage, you can
be at your 100%
or close to it.
Yeah.
So that's about it. Anything else you want to add?
So there's so much mishaps and funny stories that we shared today. But actually, we would also like to hear from you, our listener. So do share your stories with us in the comment section, or if you feel a little embarrassed, you want to just share it to our DM, please do so, because we definitely love to hear from you. And with that, we would like to wrap up our episode for today. Thank you so much for listening to our coffee chat. And once again, I'm Anson.
I'm Sangwa.
We're from Eastern Music, and we will catch you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye-bye.